DJ Kennington keeping up with that here in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, obviously.
Yeah, I think he gets great respect. You know, a guy like Rusty Wallace walking by seeing DJ working on his own equipment. Rusty remembers those days.
Todd, you don't have to put your helmet on, do you?
I haven't been asked to as yet, Vic, but I'll stand by for that instruction. You never know. Just getting some updates from the number 11 team and Jason Bowles. They are believing they should be back in second position for this restart when it does come about. NASCAR is reviewing right now whether or not they will give Jason that second spot or whether Jeff Lapcevich is going to be able to keep it. It's a question of who was involved in the incident, did they complete a full lap. So they're reviewing it right now, but a final decision hasn't yet been made if Jason will move back up.
Well, the lights have gone out on the pace car, so they'll have to make this decision pretty quickly in about maybe 2,100 feet or so before they get to that final chicane, turns 12 and 13.
Now it looks almost like that decision has been made. Bowles lining up in the third position with the Lapcevich car, the 23, up on the outside. So it looks like Lapcevich will take this restart alongside your leader, the 27 of Andrew Ranger.
And we're getting confirmation now, David, that in fact that is the way they will start, with Ranger, Lapcevich, Bowles, and Don Thompson Jr., your first two rows. It's interesting, I just find it as we ride along with the 11 of Jason Bowles, how Ranger, on all of his starts, has cooked it. He's just gotten that just in too much. I'm assuming that he would have been more controlled. I don't know why.
Well, we've actually been talking about how well he stops this car straight braking. And, you know, this is the first time we've seen a hiccup in that program. So maybe we're seeing a weakness in the brake system of the 27 car.
All right, you see the little cones on the left. That's where they can start racing, and it's under his control. So Ranger will lead them. Now watch for Bowles, watch for Lapcevich, and it is Bowles that gets the advantage on Lapcevich and will take over second spot. And a little more clean for Andrew Ranger this time around.
Yeah, this time Ranger was well in control of that restart, and he was completely clear of any other driver going into turn one. And Jason Bowles just tucked up underneath his bumper and followed him through.
We've completed 10 laps of 23 as Simone continues to try and move up. And we're seeing maybe a little bit more controlled aggression here. We still do have 13 laps to go. You can save something for the end boys.
Well, Trevor Siebert all the way from Williams Lake, British Columbia, doing a good job, but he lost a spot to the 95 of Anthony Simone and the 66 of Robin Buck.
Now Simone now sitting in fifth spot, having a great run in the RX 100, number 95, as he chases the 4 car of Don Thompson Jr. Again, Don Thompson Jr. just having a quietly solid run. Here's Dumoulin, ducks to the inside of the 69. Now, interesting, his brother, the 04 car, had some fireworks with the 69 of Siebert at Trois-Rivières.
Yeah, Three Rivers, there wasn't much love lost between those two, that's for sure.
Anthony Simone out of Holland Landing had a great run in Edmonton, Todd.
Yeah, he certainly did have a good run in Edmonton. He's had a couple of other strong runs this season as well, finishing up on the podium. They had their difficulties during practice and qualifying. They had problems with the drive shaft, the gears. They had to switch out transmissions. They believe they had all their issues now solved and resolved, and that's why we're seeing Anthony Simone and the RX 100 car start to move forward. They knew they had a better car than what they were able to show in practice and qualifying, now finally able to demonstrate it during the race.
You know, one of the things that people marvel about when you look at Andrew Ranger is just the way he is able to get through the corners, and he's able to do it. And now he got a little bit loose there. The back end hopped on him a bit, but we haven't seen that much of that kind of thing.
Well, all through practice and qualifying, he never missed a beat. Car was straight at all times. But so far in the race, we've seen him crooked several times. We'll keep an eye on him. He's still right out in front doing the job real well. But going back to Don Thompson Jr., it's all about confidence. Race car drivers love running up front successfully. You put a win on the board, oh, you're Superman for at least 3 races.
Absolutely. He's had his struggles in 2009 last year, and at the beginning of 2010, he really wasn't running up to the standard that we've come to expect from the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. But now, as you mentioned, a win under his belt, and here he's carrying that momentum into Montreal.
Yeah, Don Thompson currently running in the 4th spot, won in Barrie for a 6th career win. This is an interesting circuit because they talk about it being very technical through these twisty bits. You have to learn this. You have to be able to handle this kind of thing, because some drivers say there's not much rhythm here.
Well, it really is a rhythm. You got to get the spots where you can set the car down. Whoa, we got a big wreck. Buck gets into the back of the 95 of Simone. Around they both go. No real contact other than that right now. Both cars are underway.
Boy, Robin Buck and Anthony Simone, the 66 and the 95, and they continue on their way, just the way they were going into the Dodge hairpin.
You see just a little bit of damage to the nose of the active green and grass number 66 of Robin Buck, but what driving from both of those drivers. They did a complete 360, grabbed a gear, and let's get going, boys.
And now they're nose to tail just the way they were before the contact. This could get interesting.
Yeah, no doubt their blood pressures are going to be up. Their hearts are racing now. The adrenaline is flowing for both Simone and Robin Buck. And here comes Buck back to the inside as we take a look at this battle for third spot.
So it's Don Thompson Jr. trying to size up Jeff Lapcevich. Andrew Ranger continues to lead. There's Bowles, Lapcevich going into 10.
There's the replay right there under braking. Kind of the same spot DJ Kennington and Kerry Mix got. One pulled down the bottom trying to hook him up, and you know what? He just moved over a little bit, racing contract.
And you know what? Let's look at this. Yeah, he gave him a little bit of a tap, and then he ballets around him. They pirouette together and continue on their way.
Robin Buck just asked him for this dance as they did a little twirl going into the Dodge hairpin, and no harm, no foul.
Yeah,
Let's
Robin Buck from Campbellville, Ontario, has run racing school He's actually taught Jeff Gordon at the age of 15. And here they go again, Buck and Simone.
I have to mention the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick continues to run in the 28th position. He is still on the lead lap, though, so able to pick up positions as cars start dropping out.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what happened to the rear end of that race car, but I did say if it was the locker, they could keep it going. The 66 of Buck gets the spot off the 95.
So going under braking, Robin Buck in that active Green and Ross and Durabody Ford. Veteran road racer, gosh, I remember him from Atlantic days back in the early 90s, now at the age of 46, in a car that's probably around 8 years old. It's a converted oval car for this one.
And LP Dubélé in the 47 car just in behind. That's a car owned by former Montreal Canadian Marc-Andre Bergeron, and he's having a great day, the native of Trois-Rivières, Quebec.
This is a great battle right now. This is for third spot, the 23, Jeff Lapcevich, and the 4 of Don Thompson Jr.
Yeah, the top two cars have started to open up a little bit of a gap. Andrew Ranger and Jason Bowles have about a 2-second lead on this battle back to Jeff Lapcevich. Bowles just about 0.8 of a second behind your leader, Ranger.
Well, we seem to have set in a little bit of a rhythm here now. We got all the cautions out of the way. We got the fiberglass stop flopping. Now we're getting down to some racing.
So we talked about the points battle and the struggles that the top two were having. DJ Kennington still sitting on pit road. He's only completed 4 laps, a number of laps down. J.R. Fitzpatrick, again, still on the lead lap in 28th position. Mark Dilly has now dropped to the tail of the field once again. But Don Thompson Jr. stands to gain some ground. The 0-2 of Kerry Mix continues on course. He's in 15th, but he's had his troubles here today. He just continues to peck away and pick up positions.
You saw Bowles trying to pick up a little bit under braking, but now Andrew Ranger on the gas, and we've got some debris on the outside of turn 10. One driver we mentioned earlier, the former Montreal Canadian driver Patrice Brisbois, Stanley Cup winner. He is running now in 18th place. Won that Stanley Cup. My, oh my, oh my. If they ever bang those curbs as Bowles comes through the chicane.
Now, would Andrew Ranger be worried with all the beating and banging that went on through the first 3 restarts? I mean, he was involved in contact in nearly each one of them. Would he be worried that there might be something amiss on that car and taking it a little bit easier?
Well, we were watching the contact, and you really never got any wheel-to-wheel contact. Most of his was the old tank slapper side to side, so suspension may or may not got a damage. The writing's still in the tires, so no real front suspension or steering damage. The biggest thing he did is he went over the curb trying to get back onto the racetrack. So I'm really not thinking he's got any problems out of that contact whatsoever.
Now, Jacques Villeneuve will run in the nationwide event a little later here in Montreal. One of the things he does here, and he's notorious for really burning up the brakes. Andrew Ranger, he looks to be coming up on one of the back markers here as we ride along with Bowles. Andrew Ranger in brakes a little bit better as he gets by the points leader, J.R. Fitzpatrick, as he continues to circulate, taking a nice line inside and allowing Bowles to continue.
And you saw actually Fitzpatrick pointing outside the window. There he goes again, pointing